wings growing on its back. Mom couldn't believe what she was seeing. She took her sister to take a closer look at Ricky's body and cleaned his wounds gently, although she didn't know the reason for Ricky's wings, but to prevent him from flying away. Mom could only use a cloth to block the stroller. Mom instructed her sister not to tell anyone about Ricky. If people found out, Ricky would be taken away and studied. Some time ago, Ricky's back had a red mark on it. At that time, Mom thought that Dad was abusing Ricky, so he had a fight with him and he was angry to leave. Now we know that the red marks on Ricky's back before were the wings that were about to emerge. Mom realized that she was wrong about Dad. She wanted to call him, but she couldn't face it. A week later, Mom took out a ruler to measure Ricky's wings. Ricky's wings grew so much. In 1 week, they grew 8 centimeters. Ricky's wings flapped on their own. Mom had to work with his sister to make changes to his clothes to expose his wings so he can fly as he pleases. My sister loved Ricky's wings. She asked her mother when Ricky would be able to fly in the sky. Mom replied, "He has to learn to walk first," although there was no father in the house. But Mom still took good care of Ricky. One night, Ricky's wings suddenly started to grow feathers. In just one night, his wings were taking shape, and that's when Dad, who had run away from home, appeared. He'd been gone too long. He didn't know what had happened to his son. He just went to school to ask his sister how things were going at home. Sister didn't tell her about Ricky, so Dad didn't come home. The responsibility of taking care of Ricky fell on Mom. She would go to the library every day to look for books. She wanted to know more about the wings. After work, she would go to the supermarket to measure the chicken wings to see how long the chicken wings were. Mom was trying to understand Ricky so that Ricky doesn't get hurt when he flies. She also bought Ricky a helmet back. Sister was a little disappointed because she didn't have a single gift, but she wasn't jealous of Ricky. After all, Ricky was not just any kid. Ricky's wings are growing and he can fly very high now, but he was interested in everything. He couldn't tell what was dangerous. Luckily, his mother had prepared a helmet for him in advance. Ricky didn't get hurt. Mom patiently coaxed Ricky. Sister curiously asked when Dad would be back, but Mom had the angelic Ricky. She didn't care if the man was dead or alive outside. Ricky was like her lucky star. With him, Mom won a rare lottery ticket. 2,000 euros was enough for their family for a long time. With this money, she was happy to take her sister and Ricky to the supermarket. It was Ricky's first time in the supermarket. He was put on the shopping cart by his mother. He was curious to see what was around him. Ricky loved the lights. He kept looking at the top, but his mother and sister didn't notice this. They went to the shelf to get the doll. By the time they came back, Ricky was no longer in the shopping cart. The jacket he used to wrap his wings was ripped off. Mom looked up nervously. Ricky was really flying up there. There was a flying baby in the supermarket. Everyone looked at him in disbelief. Everyone stopped buying things. They stopped what they were doing. Some even called the police for help. But more people picked up their cell phones and started recording. After the mall discovered the situation, immediately called everyone to get out of here. Firefighters soon arrived at the scene. They set up a ladder, trying to catch Ricky down, but Ricky was flying fast, so many of them couldn't catch him. Mom noticed that Ricky seemed to like the light, quickly asked the manager to turn off all the lights, and sure enough, without the overhead lights, Ricky flew towards the freezer. The fireman took the opportunity to grab him. Ricky was finally brought down, but his secret was no longer safe. After the doctor examined Ricky, told his mother that Ricky was not an ace, the father didn't come back to take care of the child. Instead, he used the child as a tool to make money. Dad heard about Ricky's wings. He thought it was a good business opportunity to make money, as long as the interview with the reporter. Then the family could get a big paycheck. Mom was not happy with his idea. Allowed to fly in the sky. Ricky had a rope around his feet. As long as they don't let go, Ricky could be pulled back by them at any time. But what they didn't expect was Mom, who was too excited, inadvertently let go of the rope. Free of the rope, Ricky immediately flew farther away. All the reporters went after him, but Ricky flew into the jungle and never appeared again. Tired of waiting, the reporters left in droves. Soon only Ricky's family was left at the scene. Mom was sobbing. She didn't want to leave. She wanted to stay here and wait for Ricky to come back. Dad was sad too. It was his greed that cost them Ricky. He went around printing pictures of Ricky and sending them to people, hoping that someone would know where Ricky had flown to, but days went by. Ricky never showed up. Mom couldn't take it anymore. She went to the lake where Ricky had left. She was about to walk into the lake and kill herself, but just as the lake was about to submerge her chin, she heard the sound of wings flapping above her head. It was Ricky. He's back. Mom excitedly walked up and called to him. Ricky seemed to recognize her. He stopped on the lawn and looked at her quietly. Mom kept talking about how much she missed Ricky, but Ricky just smiled. Then he flew off into the distance without a backward glance. He had his own sky. The time had come to leave his parents. Mom finally learned to let go. She came home. She returned home to her father and sister and hugged them tightly. The family's life was back to normal again. Later in the year, Mom got pregnant again. Dad sent her sister to school. She stayed home to nurse the baby. I wonder if the baby this time, will the baby still have a pair of cute little wings? Her angel has flown away. Will another angel come?